Shadow Crew podcast.
I could never tell what country he was from in that movie. Bloodsport, where he like looks at the camp.
Little Irish dude walking around doesn't sound like that's going to go too well.
Volume 2, that's the best spaceships of all time.
He-Man's powers.
It does come with its own castle.
And he dies in the first episode of the movie.
Oh no, sir! He's in the entire film. Sit back, get your popcorn, and enjoy your note taking on that epic film.
Well,
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is the Shadow Crew podcast, and we are live here on YouTube, episode number 32. Wow, it feels like time is flying. Thanks for tuning in. Please, if you have a moment and you haven't already, follow, subscribe, and like the cast. It only helps us grow. I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. I just can't hide it because for those of you who have not watched this before, we talk about all things pop culture, movies, TV, film, toys, comic books, you could see my background, toys, comics, art. We talk about it all the stuff we like to every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And we've done a best of series every week for the past several weeks. Last week, it was the best of Australia. And it was Russell Crowe versus Hugh Jackman versus Mr. Hemsworth himself, Thor. They fought it out. And at the end, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the previous episode, spoiler alert, Russell Crowe came out on top. And then all of a sudden from the top rope, the steel cage, Mr. Mel Gibson came in and said, I've got something to say about it. So part 2, the final boss tonight, Mel Gibson versus Russell Crowe in a 32 film bracket elimination challenge. Plus, right after that, we're going to talk about a lot of new trailers dropped. I mean, some really exciting stuff, some new up and coming films. Plus, there's films on the horizon. There's stuff that's come out that's been released. The Ghostbusters stuff, X-Men 97 came out as well. Thus the Hat. Lots of other stuff to talk about before we jump into the bracket. How's everyone's week? How's everyone tonight? How y'all doing?
Well, I got to be honest with you. I went to go see Doom with Mr. Brentley. They're Doom 2 with Mr. Brentley this week. And I can tell you, I will never go to a theater with him again, brother. I can swear to God. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen, man.
I don't know what was so embarrassing about it.
Oh, you know what it wasn't.
That wasn't so bad.
Yeah, did you have to do it in the theater, man? In the theater? Come on, man.
Well, a man must have his toys. Well, in the words of Beetlejuice, sandworms. Hey. Well, note to self, I will not be going to Kong versus Godzilla with Dr. Brentley because I don't know what costume or cosplay showed up on that one. But I'm not interested in watching a movie with a big gorilla suit or Godzilla tail hitting me while I'm eating popcorn.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put it over the shoulder or something.
Well, you've seen it. They got all the new buckets out. The Ghostbuster one. You've seen the Godzilla one, where it's basically you're putting your hands down Godzilla's throat for the popcorn. I'm like, I don't want to get that one.
That's so funny. That is great. How's everyone else doing? Chat, we know what Dr. Brantley and Mr. Storm were up to, but any cosplay efforts this week? For me, I don't have any cosplay efforts. I tried, but I couldn't think of any. No, I've we are working towards Whatnot store, and
I have been collecting, we should say, for the store. I'm pretty excited about it. A lot of loose figures, but yeah, just been hanging out, and I think I'm almost done for a few purchasing on whatnot.
No,
Because,
you're not. No, you're
because
not.
what
Let me
happens
just tell.
is
Let me tell the story. Hold on. Let me tell the story. Okay, and we promise we're going to get into the bracket. We promise, but we're, as Chet said, we're this group is going to be launching their first whatnot store. We checked just channels, retro channels, new toys, things of that nature, collectibles. Anytime there's anything like turtles or mask or like, if Chet's in the channel, there's no hope for anybody else. I've said that live in the thing. I said, like, there's 40 people bidding on stuff. And I said, I was going to bid, but Chet's here. Nobody has a chance. And guess what? Nobody has a chance, to the point where I think he's getting a reputation that if he bids on something, everyone is just like, okay. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's like
when
a
he
high
wants
roller
it, he wants
going
it.
into Vegas.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, Chet's here.
Especially when it's masked. Like, you don't have a damn chance.
Oh,
no one has a chance with me. If there's something on mask that I want, then I'm gonna get it. Yeah, I mean, I've been on the platform heavily for like a month, and I'm already at like 53 followers. And
That's
every
crazy.
time I go into a channel, it's like, "What's up, Chad? What are you looking for?" I'm like, "I'm just staring. I'll let you know." Like, all right. And
his reputation has gone, because anytime I'm on and it's like the Junk Cartel or anybody else's or something, they immediately know, oh, Chet. it's automatically now. It's like you get the VIP section. I've got all kind of people following me for some strange reason. I'm like, wow. It's a Chet effect.
It is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please drop us a comment. This is live, so any feedback is appreciated, especially around our bracket challenge. Opinions are definitely welcome. So without further ado, let's get into Gibson versus Crowe.
Flawless victory.
Russell Crowe.
Change of plan.
No! Looks as if he's been chiseled from Gibraltar itself.
I'm fluent in Latin and Greek, of course. And beyond those, I have an intimate knowledge of the Romance tongue. Who is this guy?
All right, so
it starts.
It begins the final challenge of the battle for Australia. Just a quick summary of what we do. It's a 32 films, 16 and 16 of Crowe and Mel Gibson matched up one another, just like, hey, it's March Madness, the NCAA tournament, very similar. We go through the list again, opinions welcomed, and we narrow it down to the final four, and then the final two, and then number one. So we may select the best film of one of the different actors. There's no question about that, but to determine the actual winner, we look at how many of their films were in the 4 and the 8. So just because, let's say, Mel or Russell Crowe wins best film, it doesn't mean that they win the battle for Australia. So you all are ready? Any predictions, thoughts on these two epic actors going head to head?
My money's on Mel.
Yeah, I think Mel's kicking some butt.
My money's on Mel. You don't just posture up like Stone Cold and not win. So glass breaks. Mel Gibson shows up. Game over, people.
Okay. Well, without further ado, let's jump right into it. And to start off the first round, can you all see it? There we go. It is the first set of films, the classic Braveheart versus Russell Crowe, a probably less known film, The Next 3 Days, 2010 film. So let's see who advances.
Well, I don't think I ever heard of this movie.
Yeah,
What,
I-
Braveheart?
Well, it was in the theaters for 3 days, so I mean,
Yes.
no, we heard of Braveheart actually
Oh.
when Dr. Brentley was working as a page at Paramount. He called me up one night saying, "Hey man, you want to go to see a movie at the Paramount Theater, which they have this awesome theater on the Paramount lot?" And I was like, He says Braveheart. That sounds like that's gonna suck. I don't know. And my brother, myself, and my cousin, we end up going to it, and it was the most mind-blowing film I've ever seen. And that theater was bitching. So Braveheart, 100% Braveheart.
Braveheart.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Braveheart.
Freedom.
It only won Best Picture of the year, you know.
7 years in a row.
All right, Mr. Braveheart goes through, and now L.A. Confidential versus We Were Soldiers.
I've seen We Were Soldiers. That's a good movie, but I think LA Confidential is a much better film.
Yeah, We Were Soldiers is one of the ones we did a trailer on, but LA Confidential is a better movie, I think.
Yeah, it was a good war film.
Mm-hmm, it is
actually a really good watchable film, but I think I agree. LA Confidential takes this one. Okay, moving on to the next one. Mel Gibson, one of the later films of his career, Get the Gringo versus 310 to Yuma.
I think that was after the backlash days for Get the Gringo. Although it's an entertaining film, but 310 to Yuma is probably one of the best modern day westerns after like the Unforgiven stage, because they really had a drought. So 310 to Yuma is a fantastic film.
Best western ever, Tombstone.
Unforgiven.
Tombstone.
Yeah, 310 to Yuma wins this one, but Get the Gringo was good.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Pretty simple one so far. We got Mad Max.
I mean,
versus
I'll start.
The Nice Guys.
Happy to start this off, Mad Max.
Oh, obviously. Yeah.
Not even just that. Next.
The Nice Guys was a good movie.
It was, but not better than Mad Max.
Yeah, you ain't beating Mad Max.
Yeah, although
Thunderdome.
The first Mad Max does take a while to get going and everything, but it is good. Got to go with Mad.
Well, we'll have 3 of the trilogy of Mad Max movies in this contest.
Oh yeah,
Mad Max for me as well. But underrated, under the radar, The Nice Guys. This film, if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend.
You know what's crazy about The Nice Guys is just like Mad Max. Like I've watched The Nice Guys multiple times now, and it's entertaining every time.
Yeah,
but Mad Max is like, oh, I wish I was there.
Ryan Gosling makes good films. He's another guy that's kind of, I mean, he's a big star. Obviously, he was nominated for an Oscar this year, but he's like not like in the echelon of like some of these. But like, he doesn't make a lot of garbage.
True.
And we'll see with The Fall Guy if that's garbage or if it turns out to be great. I was talking to my my mom recently, and I was like, "You remember The Fall Guy?" She's like, "Yeah, I watched that on TV." I'm like, "You know, they're making a movie." She's like, "With Lee Majors." I was like, no.
That $6 million went a long way.
Break a hip guy.
Yeah,
he falls.
Lethal Weapon 4 versus The Quick and the Dead.
Even still, like this is because I think Lethal Weapon 4 really wasn't one of the better Lethal Weapons. But The Quick and the Dead was. I distinctly remember a headline that said the quick and out of the box office. So it's Lethal Weapon 4.
Barely, in my opinion.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, I really liked The Quick and the Dead, but Lethal Weapon 4 does still have some great action in it. That car chase is pretty epic. I'm gonna go Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, no, it's Lethal Weapon 4 for me. I love that franchise.
We have all been unified thus far.
I know.
No, usually at this point in the contest, we're split, but
Mel
Gibson. Could be easier than we think.
I'm telling you, man. The glass cracks. Mel Gibson walks out.
American Gangster versus Ransom, the Ron Howard film. Ron Howard seems to be doing a lot of films in this contest. I really liked Ransom. I thought it was a really good movie. There's some epic.
Now,
lines from this film.
I remember last week when Chet said something which was very also on the line that draws me back, is that technically American Gangster is not a Russell Crowe film. It's Denzel Washington's film. Russell Crowe takes a very back seat to it. And once he said that, every now and then there's a bit of witticism that comes through. I was like, you know what? He's right. I can't count that as a Russell Crowe film. He's a very good supporting character, but not in any way a main character. So I'm gonna go with Ransom. I think Ransom overbeats just performance wise.
Get me back my son.
Yeah,
it's Ransom for me.
Yeah, I liked American Gangster, but I gotta rewatch Ransom. It's been a while, but really great performance.
And Rene Russo plays his wife again after the Lethal Weapons.
Next up is Maverick, not the Tom Cruise version, versus Body of Lies with Leo. I really liked Maverick.
I did too.
Yeah.
It was like one of those where it had the tone of the, I don't know if most people remember the original television show, but it was very kind of like on the same kind of level, even with James Gardner being in it. I was really surprised at how well they managed that line without dramatically shifting it where it wasn't like anything recognizable. So I think Maverick definitely wins for me.
It was kind of a throwback too. It didn't feel like the film was designed for the era in which it came out. I appreciated it, like very quirky and fun and like it was good. I'm on board with Maverick on this one.
Yeah, Maverick.
Yep.
What say you, Chet? Wow,
it's got to be Maverick for me. I wasn't really into Body of Lies,
okay. Next up, another Denzel Crowe film, but Lethal Weapon 3 versus Virtuosity. I think it was Russell Crowe's first American film debut.
I think so. Yeah, it was. And I think this was Denzel Washington's last action film until like Equalizer, I believe. He virtuosity himself out of into starring roles in dramas. Lethal Weapon 3.
Absolutely. Yeah, Virtuosity was not good.
No, it was not.
And Lethal Weapon 3, even though it's really not that great compared to the first two, 3 and 4 do not hold up to it, but it wins this.
Okay. Now we're down to the next round in Braveheart versus LA Confidential.
Tough, but I'm gonna have to still say Braveheart.
Braveheart.
Yeah, Braveheart.
Okay. Next up, 310. This is tough.
This not as tough as I think. I still got to go Mad Max, brother.
See, I'm gonna go 310.
Nope, I'm Mad Max.
There's a damn interceptor.
If it was Road Warrior, it'd be a different story. But
Road Warrior kills almost damn near half of these films up here. What are you talking about?
This is a tough one for me.
Well, we damn straight can't go to box office. Box office is way different, and I can almost tell you the Rotten Tomatoes score.
I'm gonna say 310 to be honest with you, only because like Mad Max, like if I think about just I think it more of the franchise, but if I'm comparing the films themselves, I think Dr. Brantley is right around it's a little slower to develop. So I think we have to look at Rotten Tomatoes, right?
To go
for this one. Okay,
I can't imagine
Mad
that
Max
Mad Max
is
is.
gonna make it.
I can't imagine that. Rotten Tomato.
Okay, Mad Max, Rotten Tomatoes, the first one, 89% critics, 70% audience.
Yeah, I was thinking it was critics 70, audience was probably 89. I was thinking that was reverse.
And 310 to Yuma, 89% critics and 86 audience. So the audience is better. This is still, I mean,
close.
But the audience says 310 to Yuma. So this one I knew it was going to be close. But
it's not killing us. It's not like it's
we've got to advance 310 by a hair margin. Lethal Weapon 4 versus Ransom is clear to me. Ransom.
Ransom.
Lethal Weapon 4 was the worst. Of
Gibson
the
versus
four.
Gibson.
Yeah. Okay. And now Maverick versus Lethal Weapon 3.
I think Maverick.
This one's Maverick for me.
Same.
Well, I was going to say Lethal Weapon 3, but Maverick wins.
Ooh. Braveheart versus 310.
Still easy decision for me, brother. Like I
Braveheart.
said, you know.
Okay.
Give it to the old Gibson.
Yep.
Ransom versus Maverick.
Ooh, this one's good.
This one's Wow. I
Gotta go Ransom.
I like Maverick, but I think Ransom's a better film.
Yeah,
Chris, where are you at? You're on Ransom?
Yeah.
For me, it's Ransom, but just barely.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably pretty clear. Sweep.
Braveheart. Yeah.
All right, so the winner of the left bracket is Braveheart. For those of you who are listening live, please like and subscribe the channel. The follows and the comments helps the channel grow. And we are on to the right side of the bracket to see who faces Mel Gibson's Braveheart.
I got to tell you, Russell Crowe better bring it together.
Gladiator versus Conspiracy Theory.
Okay.
Here we go.
Russell Crowe's jumping out. He's jumping out.
Yeah, here we go.
Gladiator.
Conspiracy Theory wasn't a bad film.
No, it wasn't. But it's not going to be Gladiator.
It's not Gladiator.
Bad guy Patrick Stewart.
That's right.
Gladiator.
Sir Patrick Stewart. The blasphemy that just came on this cast.
I apologize, sir.
One of my favorite underrated films Mel Gibson's made in Payback versus Proof of Life, and I think Payback should have been a graphic novel. I don't know, just planting the seed.
There's two versions of Payback, and there's and both versions have there's little alternating situations to go through it. Both versions are good of that movie, and Payback is a underrated kind of I think one of his just slid underneath the radar that people every time it's on, it's like, wow, this is just a great piece of acting that he did in this.
Yeah, it's called Payback Straight Up, and it is just more of a hard-edged movie because we did the trailer on this one as well, and Paramount wanted to make it seem like it was a more lighthearted comedy. So that's all the stuff that we played up. And even if you watch the trailer now, at the end, we use Mel Gibson doing a wink to the camera and a little dog joke. Things that were not in the movie, we pulled them from dailies. And it was stuff after they called cut. And he was doing little muggy stuff for the camera. And
that's cool.
That's how they wanted to sell it. And I don't think worked because they were selling the movie that did not exist.
Got it.
But Payback wins this for me.
Yep. Payback.
Okay.
I want to go watch that now.
The Road Warrior versus Master and Commander.
Only in the back of my mind, brother. The Road Warrior.
Yeah. Land takes sea.
Yeah, okay. Road Warrior. I wonder,
It's technically a documentary, isn't it? About the California gas wars.
This is Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, the last installment of the Mel Gibson.
Don't you slander? That's got Tina Turner in it, brother.
So good.
I would not.
Hey, the Thunderdome, man. Come on, you got it.
Who was slandering it just now? Why'd you get all upset?
I'm just making sure.
It's a Mad Max film. It's always gonna win. Trust me. Especially with Tina Turner. Come on.
Yep. And the end chase in that is awesome.
Wow. And you know what? I got to give George Miller credit. Somehow he wrecks more cars and makes the same kind of epic chase even greater by the film. I don't know how he does it, but wow, man. And those are practical stunts. It's not like this is CGI. They're really wrecking cars, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I love
Stuntmen
Mad
getting
Max.
hurt.
The only thing I like better than Mad Max is Cannonball Run.
I'm surprised they haven't remade that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no.
I don't think there's been more of a slam dunk answer in the contest than this one, Mike, just so you know. I purposely just made sure this was like a 2-second
of
choice
course,
and we move on just in case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Lethal Weapon 2 is the best Lethal Weapon in my opinion.
Like I really got to think that Russell Crowe and Kevin Costner just murdered Robin Hood. I just got to wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but they didn't even come close to murdering it like the last guy.
Yeah, like
that one was
the one with Jamie Foxx in it. Wow,
Yes.
they haven't since probably Errol Flynn or the Disney film. They haven't done it good, Robin Hood.
Yeah,
simple concept.
Here's a question for you, just randomly: if Mel Gibson was around at this age that he did the Weapon movies during the good MCU, do you think there would have been a role for him in the Marvel universe?
Oh, absolutely. He probably
would.
Wolverine.
You think he's Wolverine?
I think so.
He's got the rage for it.
Yeah, I think he would have been a better Wolverine. Like Jackman's great, but I think there was this character in Lethal Weapon was Wolverine-ish at times, like the just psychopath type of You kind of we should do like a segment on that of like actors who missed the MCU, but like if they were around, what would they have done? That could be interesting. Okay, Mel moves on. We have The Insider versus Signs.
Ooh.
One of my favorite Mel Gibson and Shyamalan films up until the end.
Yeah. It
was dumbest,
but it was such a good movie up and through that point. Like probably one of his best up until the last 20 minutes.
It has one of the biggest scares I've ever gotten.
The film, everyone screamed
with
like
just the guy walking by, and that was great. But the ending is so dumb.
Well, you also got to think it's like Shyamalan just couldn't win. His first two films, he had kind of did that whole trick ending scenario. At one point or another, it was going to fail, and it failed on number 3.
And 4 and 5 and 6.
He swung away many times. Did not hit a home run.
Well, it's funny if he can revive that career. That's going to be a trick ending.
Well, he's got another one coming out soon.
I know. That's what I said again. We'll see. I don't know. Again, I'm going to go with the whole Chet philosophy here. I don't know if The Insider is technically Russell Crowe's film. He's more of a supporting character in that film.
Didn't he get nominated for this?
He did.
As best supporting, maybe? Was he best supporting?
Yeah, that's what I said again. It's like, it's more or less really kind of Al Pacino's movie. But I think acting performance wise and everything, it's hard because they both act extremely well. I'll say I think that Mel Gibson had to hold that film together in Signs a little bit more. So I'm pulling towards Signs.
Yeah, even for all the flaws, I think Signs.
Look, it was a phenomenon when we were sitting in theater. People were like, "Wow, you got to go see this movie," and it was one of the last major, I think, Shyamalan hype films that he had.
Yeah, Signs for me.
Signs.
Okay, moving on to the original Lethal Weapon versus A Beautiful Mind.
Oh, jeez, boy, this
Come
one.
on.
Wow, like I said, Russell Crowe's getting his ass kicked tonight because
I told you
if it was in another bracket, I think A Beautiful Mind would win. But come on, man, Richard Donner, come on.
The Patriot. We made fun of Steven Seagal because one of his films he tried to replicate this poster.
He did.
Didn't work out very well.
And
his state
made his head
play.
way too big.
Well, yeah, if you can imagine, Steven Seagal's head was even bigger than Mel Gibson's in this.
It's so weird. It was so weird.
Like the horses were in his mouth. Like that's how big
it was like he had a grill made of horses.
The Patriot. This is Patriot for me on this one.
I love the Patriot.
Yeah.
There's the couple parts in this movie that get me every time, but when him and his young kids go to get Heath Ledger, one of the best scenes I think in just action filmmaking.
Yeah, Okay. Patriot advances. Now we are in the next round, and it's Gladiator versus Payback.
Well, this is where Russell Crowe's going to start picking up some steam, because although I love Payback, I think Gladiator is a better film.
Yeah, Gladiator.
Chet?
It's Gladiator.
Okay. Next up, the Road Warrior versus Mad Max
Wow.
Thunderdome.
Well, Gibson versus Gibson, but it's the Road Warrior.
The Road Warrior.
They don't even
Chris,
need that shit.
Chris, where are you?
Here's a tough one. I think Road Warrior often gets the advantage because it was the cinematography and how rough.
Oh yeah,
how it's almost like I compare it to like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the era of films where it was like new and gritty feeling, and you didn't know who this guy was. He was an Australian actor, and it was like cool with the cars and like this. I don't know. Beyond Thunderdome had some really cool sequences, and in the grand scheme of things, probably is like a more of a blockbuster type film. But I'm leaning towards Road Warrior just because I think it. Again, it's just the classic.
I understand what you're saying. I think Beyond Thunderdome is a better technical story, and there's better elements in it. But just 100% like out of the way, this shit is like every time it's like the pulsing. Road Warrior has that. It's the pulsing.
But nobody ever saw a movie like this. That's the thing. Is like it was just it just the way it was filmed, and like you didn't know anybody like in this. So when you were watching it for the first time, American audience was like, it felt super real too, because it wasn't Burt Reynolds as the Road Warrior or something, And
it's kind of hard not to pick Thunderdome just because of California Love, Tupac Shakur and shit. It was like, no, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But
Thunderdome is more polished filmmaking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But
it didn't feel as gritty. They had obviously a lot more money. They got Tina Turner, so in her heyday. So there was a big budget associated with that. Chat.
I mean, I'm the only one standing out here. Mine is Mad Max. So I understand the argument for Road Warrior, but
of course.
Lord Humongous versus Master Blaster. Come on, Humongous wins.
Well, they're pretty much almost damn near the same character. Yeah, I've got a slight edge. I'm just.
I'm gonna watch both of these and come back next week and be like, all right,
exactly.
you guys are right. But for right now, Road Warrior obviously advances, but like Mad Max for me is, I don't know. I just have something about Mad Max.
Look, if we can get people to go back and watch Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome, we've done our jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the next, and it is Lethal Weapon 2 versus Signs.
I buy Signs.
See you later.
I gotta say Lethal Weapon 2. If there's not a better sequel, wow.
It's a lot of Mel versus Mel at this
Mel,
stage.
I told you, like when Mel popped in the last minute, I'm like, Mel knew what he was doing, man.
Lethal Weapon here for me.
Obviously, Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
This is like the fastest
bracket. I know, we're going through the brackets. He's kicking
versus the Road Warrior.
Wow.
For me, it's Road Warrior.
Wow. Oh man, damn. This is gonna suck.
I'm picking it based off of like impact at first watch.
Well, I don't know, man. As both of them, like they both have like just great lines that are cited through all the fandom. Only thing that the Gladiator doesn't have is you don't have a bitch in the car. So, but if they put a car in Gladiator, maybe if he was riding a tiger, Gladiator will win. So yeah,
so He-Man.
Russell Crowe's is a bad company tonight because we take Gladiator out, and I think that's his best film. It's Road Warrior, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I gotta go Road Warrior.
Well, we just murdered Russell Crowe.
Sorry.
Well, just to put it in perspective, the Gladiator got 80% Rotten Tomatoes on the critics.
Really? Wow.
So pretty good. but the Road Warrior got 93%.
Wow.
It is the second highest Rotten Tomato score for a Mel Gibson film behind Braveheart.
I'm a little disappointed. I think it should have got a 99.
Okay, next up, Lethal Weapon 2 versus Lethal Weapon
2. I love Lethal Weapon 2.
Cut my feet
more.
off, man. Cut my feet off. Jesus Christ. What?
Okay, so let's talk about it.
You
Wow.
had South Africans as the bad guy versus
Gary
just
Busey.
a couple.
Gary Busey.
And his teeth.
Such a great bad guy.
And a man got blown up on Hollywood Boulevard, for God's sakes, or Sunset.
The torture scene with
wow. Come on, man.
You know, where he's hanging up.
Dr. Brentley, I don't even know who you are, man.
All the cops get murdered by these guys. And you've got the toilet bomb. You've got Joe Pesci in the one that he was actually funny in.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me, man? There was a man murdered on a lawn in Los Angeles. Like, again, I don't know. Oh, shit, Jesus, man. 30 years of friendship. I don't know who the fuck this guy is right now.
For me, it's Lethal Weapon 2.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Chat, we're 2 against 1 here. So, are you going taking Mr. Storm's side with the OG, or are you coming on the Lethal 2 bandwagon? Toilet bomb. Come on, man.
I mean, okay.
Okay. Now
the end was inside a big tanker truck. They, jump out with the car. Come down. Oh.
But that's not realistic.
Just say Lethal
What do
Weapon.
you mean that's
2.
not realistic?
Let's move on.
That's not realistic. When is the last time you saw that happen in real life? Look it.
A couple weeks ago, Long Beach.
I love that Chad says, when's the last time we say it in real life? And like 7 episodes ago, he was like, dude, Fast and the Furious is the best, which is like the most unrealistic. It's literally like a live action mask.
He's like, Toyota could beat a Charger. What are you talking about? It's
you know what? No. You can always fly to the in space in a car. Okay.
Exactly.
Look at I always appreciate when something is done first and it's impactful.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And I think that the Lethal Weapon was super impactful. And at the time, all the movies that were coming out with Lethal Weapon, they were all great. It won. But there are very, very few franchises that can do so much better on number 2. And I think Lethal Weapon did better on 2. But I obviously 2 couldn't exist without 1. But the problem is like no one expects a sequel to be better than the first one, and Lethal Weapon 2 was just like it was just that much better. It's a small win for me, but I mean it's a better film in my opinion. So 2.
I'm willing to respect that. You guys won't be getting Christmas gifts this week.
That's totally fine.
You were going to get a Riggs and Murtaugh 2 action sets that are not coming in the mail this year. So you're going to get, what was that? They made a new Lethal Weapon. What the hell was that? That garbage that came out?
Yeah, I think the TV show on Fox.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So bad. Okay.
Well, this is one I didn't expect this one. Oh, damn. All right. Ooh.
Mel versus Mel again.
Yeah, wow. I don't know. It's just Road Warrior is just sentimentally just a better film. I think just in my mind, it's a better film. I don't know. I think I like Lethal Weapon 2, but like every time the Road Warrior's on, it's like I'll watch it every time. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna say the Road Warrior. I know I'll probably lose this battle, but I'll say the Road Warrior.
Yeah, because I think I'm gonna have to go with Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah,
I enjoy it so much. Like that's both of these. If they're on, I will watch it. But Lethal Weapon 2 is like just more fun and engaging movie for me.
There's, in my opinion, there's 3 films like the kind of cop buddy franchise that forever will be the best in my opinion. Lethal Weapon, 48 Hours, although Eddie Murphy wasn't a cop, but with Nick Nolte, and Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, the first and second Bad Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Of those films and franchises, Lethal Weapon is my favorite, and I think 2 is the best. I think it sets the tone and is the best buddy cop film of all time. As much as I like The Road Warrior, I'm going with Lethal Weapon. So, chat, you decide if we go to Rotten Tomatoes or you
We got to
decide
go to Rotten
advance.
Tomatoes.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon 2, the critic score is 82%, so much lower than the Road Warrior. So I'm probably confident the box office, Lethal Weapon 2 made
Lethal Weapon 2
much
has
more
a
money
way,
than Road
way.
Warrior.
Wow, come on.
So we're kind of stuck here a bit. Do we lean heavier on Rotten Tomatoes than box office?
Well, I think you can't do.
What does Metacritic say?
We're introducing another. What does Google reviews say?
Yeah, I don't know. Wow.
I mean, look, I'm not going to be upset if the Road Warrior wins. It's a great movie.
I think we have to, as much as I'm reluctant to do so. I think Rotten Tomatoes score is just so much better than Lethal Weapon 2. So I think the Road Warrior does need to advance.
Yeah. I love Lethal Weapon 2, but like, oh shit.
Yeah,
and Mel versus Mel.
The one thing that can possibly beat it.
Just so you know, Rotten Tomatoes, it's Braveheart.
And
Road Warrior 1 and 2.
Yeah, well,
and I'm just going to check what the Rotten Tomatoes score is for Braveheart to see how close it is. Just so we know what we're dealing with here in terms of Rotten Tomatoes. Braveheart, Rotten Tomatoes. It is. Here's what's interesting about this one. The critics score is 76%. So that's weird. I thought so that's audience score. So it looks like critics liked Road Warrior better, but audience liked Braveheart better.
Not surprising.
That surprises me.
No,
I think because Braveheart is such an epic and well-told story. You got your romance, you got your action, and some of the most violent battle scenes ever. I'm gonna say Braveheart on this one.
I think Braveheart's, like, it's really essentially Mel Gibson's best acting and directing films.
Yep, going Braveheart.
Braveheart's got it.
All right. Well, we have a clear right side of the bracket versus left side of the bracket. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the contest is Braveheart. And if you just look closely on the final films,
all Mel.
Pretty much all Mel except for 310 to Yuma. So congratulations, Mr. Mel Gibson, the king of Australia.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice.
See the production value go up every time.
Every time. Well, congratulations. Russell Crowe gave it a good fighting chance and beat fellow competitors, Hugh Jackman and Mr. Hemsworth. But at the end of the day, could not take down Mr. Mel Gibson. So congratulations to would have been one of the best Wolverines in
of all time.
So good. Awesome. Feel free to drop a comment as you're watching, even if you're watching it recorded, if you disagree, if you thought there should have been different films. And then we also take suggestions for future bracket matchups. And it doesn't have to be actors. It could be a variety of different things: best films, best TV shows, best toy lines, comic books. We've done a lot of different things. So if you've got an idea, drop it in the comments section. So let's get into this past week with lots of new trailers popping up, some cool stuff people are looking forward to. But what was a trailer that stood out to you, gentlemen, this week that you were like blown away or excited about, and maybe perhaps one that you were like, I don't know, I'm not sure.
I wasn't blown away by the Acolyte. I guess I'm expecting something different, and it just didn't really grasp. I thought it was interesting, but it was like the weaker one. The one that blew me away, well, actually, I'd say the two that blew me away was the competing Game of Thrones House of Dragons. Either your team green or team black, and I was like, wow, I'm 100% team black, although I know they lose because obviously it's a prequel. But that's what kind of shocked me. I thought that was very good marketing, just to hype in both sides of the point. I was not expecting that, because when they said, hey, the new trailer for House of Dragons dropped, I was expecting one. Then I was like, wait a minute, there's two trailers. So I was like, very smart. So that was the ones that kind of got me. Another one that was kind of low was I was a little bit disappointed in the Crowe trailer. I thought Brandon Lee's version still seems like it's just a little bit significantly better, just from the trailer wise. So I was a little shocked about that too, because I was hyped for the I think the director of Pennywise, right? He's doing the
I'm
new
assuming
Crowe
it's the
film.
same. It's
Are you talking about Ron
guy.
Howard?
Well, anyways, I was kind of shocked that one was. I was like, wow, it didn't kind of grasp me, the trailer. And again, it could be just the trailer too, because sometimes the performances are better, and sometimes trailers are cut like really bad. So it might have been just maybe what they had on hand to cut, and it just wasn't a good trailer. But it didn't inspire me that the Crow was going to be like better than the original version.
And that's the one that Jason Momoa was going to be in.
Oh,
Now,
what's
can
that?
you imagine
if
he was the Crow, but in that still the same look and of that movie?
I don't think it was going to work for Jason.
No. And they might have changed it a bit with a different actor,
Sure.
Yeah, I liked Beetlejuice. That one looked good. Everybody looked good coming back. They looked like their characters. It was a teaser, so they didn't give much away. But Michael Keaton looks great and has that same feel of the original. So looking forward to that.
Has Tim Burton done a sequel of his films?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think this is the first time. Yeah,
this is his first time.
Well, if you count Batman Returns,
yeah.
But that was also a completely different film than the first film. So,
did he make a Willy Wonka sequel? Did they make another one?
No,
of those?
they didn't.
No,
that was the only one.
They did
for
2
him.
Alice in Wonderlands.
Yes, that's what it was.
That wasn't Tim.
It wasn't him.
I don't think he did the sequel.
He did the first one, but not the second one.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Yeah, I agree. The teaser was cool. It wasn't much. They didn't reveal too much, but I think it was like a good teaser. So I'm excited about that. The Crow, I have no interest whatsoever. Yeah. It's just it's hard. Like, it's hard to remake them, not just because it's Brandon Lee, but like just the music and how they captured it. Like, I don't know. It just felt like you can't redo it. I think the music was so critical to that movie, like The Cure and The Darkness. I don't know if you can do it now. And it's certainly the look and feel did not
exactly
like The Crow that I know. So it's like Jared Leto's Joker. It's like, come on, dude. Like, it's not going to work. I don't care what edits you have or uncut versions. Like, just not going to work there, buddy. I don't care what version of Joker you're trying to do. But that one I was excited about. And the Game of Thrones, I'm House of Dragon. I'm super excited about that coming back. So that'll be a fun one for sure.
I think what I think so far the most impressive one that I've watched is Beetlejuice. And it's because they didn't really say a lot, but you just like, I don't know, the shots. And then when you see everyone coming back, it's just like, shit, here we are again.
Mm.
And
Well,
I mean, it's Tim Burton. To be
yeah.
honest, I'm like, there. I was such a fan of always watching Tim Burton and Danny Elfman movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love Danny Elfman. I love Oingo Boingo. I loved him when he was in the Mystic Knights of Oingo Boingo. And his brother was doing those weird plays, and then to see his music combined with with Tim Burton, that's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Which I didn't look. Is he doing the music for Beetlejuice?
I would only imagine they would.
Oh, it has to be.
Has
If
to
they
be, right?
don't,
I
it'll
think-
be like the biggest mistake.
I need to know this a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get Hans Zimmer this time. No,
Yeah,
it's not
no,
going to work.
wow. Yeah.
I would actually love to see a version that Hans Zimmer does.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
But I'll give credit to the somehow this week I saw more trailers dropped in a long time, and I think that was extremely smart. They're setting everyone up because, like, with the whole Hollywood strike last year and everything, I think that we just had a very bad winter of really zero expectations on anything. And they're really kind of letting us know that Hollywood's full into play for the summer because, man, they're dropping everything. We've already seen the Deadpool, which I really believe is going to be the king of the summer.
Oh man, I'm so looking forward to that.
There's so many great stuff they dropped this weekend. I'm like, we were getting back to back to back. I was like, wow. And again, my major disappointment was just the Acolyte. There was nothing inspirational about it. I saw it. I was like, I've kind of seen this before. Nothing shocked me. And I was like, I didn't, it wasn't anything where I was like, wow, like I'm really looking forward to that. It was after it, I was like, wow, I kind of thought they could have done something better with what I saw. And again, it could be just a trailer, but it looks like one of those deceptive trailers where I think everything that was good about the entire series was shown in that trailer. And that's what has me worried. Because there's like certain scenes where you see, and they really focused on the walking into the bar kind of scenario. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, this must be like in the beginning. And then there's a scene where all the Jedis are like running through the forest and it explodes. And I said, I have a feeling that this is the tone of this entire series. And those were the two best scenes that they shot for this entire series. It looks like it may be a disappointment, man.
I'm always concerned about the Star Wars universe because I think they have a very difficult time in trying to replicate the epic villain like a Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times the villains in these new like original series just doesn't feel like a Darth. And I know it's like like you can never compare to Darth Vader, but it just doesn't capture the essence of something like super evil. I've never been able to understand why I thought there was such high hopes for like a Kylo Ren, and then it turned into well, we all know what it turned into.
Well,
but when that opening scene, right in that first, I was like, what the hell is like? Did they finally get it right? So I look at this trailer and I'm like, I don't know. Again, I'm not sure. Like, is this like, oh shit, here's someone bad, or it's like, is there going to be like they're going to be good? I don't know. It's just there's not a menacing character.
I think what's doing the Star Wars franchise in is that they're trying to please everyone, and they're pleasing no one.
Yep.
And I looked at this and I said, now as the villains, I think when you look at the Mandalorian and you see Gideon's character, I think that's almost the equivalent of Darth Maul, kind of like, not quite Darth Vader, but he is the catalyst that runs that show when it comes to like, the main bad guy. And you like seeing him when he shows up, but it's
But how many times they capture him and how many times he's like, I don't know. Like he's good, but again, he's just not like this, like epic. You want the protagonist to defeat because he's just like, it's like Moff Gideon was captured and he escaped and we don't know, but it's just like, I don't know.
And I don't think
give me someone like Darth Vader.
I think they didn't do a good job as well in the first season of Ahsoka for General Thrawn. It's just that I don't think maybe we just didn't get enough screen time or anything, but he didn't seem like although I know he's an equal in the extended universe to Darth Vader, but somehow it didn't come across. But again, he did have a little bit of a small amount of screen time as well. So maybe the second season they're gearing that up. But
well, no, a better villain was Balin Skull. I think
so.
In that Ahsoka series, because he did have some presence and some menace, and he's not just all bad either. So it was an interesting character. But yeah, Thrawn is supposed to be this great character in the books and everything, and I just didn't see it. It just didn't come across maybe in what they did.
Yeah, agree. I think the best trailer was a video game trailer this week, and that is Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, Hydra original story from Marvel baked into a playable video game. I'm interested in the original story for this, and I love the era, but I thought the CGI, I looked at that, I'm like, watch out, because this could be the future of the MCU. Like they may just go, shit, we're just gonna, the budget's crazy too here, so they're not saving money, but they may just go and say, shit, we can make it better than what we've been producing lately on Disney Plus. But I was blown away. I watched that thing like 10 different times, and I think that's going to be an epic game and an epic story.
Their last 3 video game drops, I know they had like the Midnight Suns that was actually, that trailer looked fantastic. The teaser that we got from Blade was fantastic. Like so far, whoever's working on those games that's coming from Marvel, man, it's like they're coming out the box, because they are just the teasers, and these are video games. It's like, we know we're going to drop money, we're going to have to pay for them to come out, and they're nowhere near where you go to a film and it's like maybe $20 to see a film. We know this is going to be the $65 to $70 range, and it's like, wow, there's like 3 video games that's popped up, and 2 of them are coming out later, hopefully later on this year, that I'm really interested in picking up.
Yep. I'm excited about it. Anything else? Any other trailers or any other things that you all saw you're getting excited about?
No, I think that's wrecking it, brother. Again, but I can't wait to see the next coming weeks to see what else is dropping, because not everyone's got all their budgets out for the summer. I think a lot of people are waiting towards the summer, and I think also people are waiting to see what's going on with if Ghostbusters is going to do well this week. I know the critics, there's a lot of YouTubers that were slumping for Sony, because everybody's trying to explain, let me explain to you the 45% Rotten Tomatoes score and everything else like that. It's like, you don't need to explain it. People went and saw it, and most of the people that saw it at the premiere walked away from it saying they weren't that inspired from it. And I think that if Ghostbusters has this week to do its money, and then next week on Friday, Kong and Godzilla hit the box office, and that's going to be over the Easter weekend, we're going to see how strong that franchise is, because I don't know, man. I'm and there's also the the NCAA tournament over this weekend as well. I think Ghostbusters has whoever picked that date to drop this, I think they made a bad mistake, because I don't think it's going to do that well.
And I don't think Dr. Brantley has an opportunity to watch it, because his proton pack won't fit in the theater chair. So,
I know.
Unfortunately, you'll have to wait.
He's not going to be able to watch shit.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, when we were putting that thing together for Dune, I immediately told him, I said, there has to be a Southern California theater, because that kind of stupid stuff doesn't happen in other places. He was no, that's Arizona. He said Arizona.
Tulsa,
yeah,
Oklahoma.
That was Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay. Yeah, I remember we were laughing. It was like, whenever I remember there was a guy with the Tron suit that went to, and they kicked him out of the theater because he was lighting up and everything. I've sat in theaters literally with like Jedis and like glow in the dark lightsabers. It's usually Southern California theaters for some strange reason. It's like every cosplayer, like every nut, goes to a theater.
There was one. I forget. Trying to remember the street, but it was an AMC in Long Beach, and every time a Marvel movie came out, I would go down there just to look, and it was like is just
It's like Thor, Black
bunch of
Panther.
fucking
It's just stuff like
dorks.
that. Well,
Dressed
you
up
know
as-
what? There's one in particular, and like I said, Chris and I, I remember this. We ended up going to a theater. There was some kind of strange Russian film that came out, and we ended up going to, I think it was the Newmark or something. Was the theater called?
Newark.
It's Newark. Yeah, we end up going to this theater, and it was this Russian film. I can't remember what it was called.
Oh,
But-
yes. What the hell was that film?
Yeah, I can't remember it, but it was some kind of big Russian film that was doing well over here. People saying, "Oh no, it's kind of like like a Ghostbusters kind of scenario."
But it was
or-
like Matrix type of thing.
Yeah.
Like it had its own like their universe almost. It was
Yeah.
like they were like made
Yeah.
up characters and stuff. Yeah.
We go,
Damn,
we
I
go to
hadn't
the
thought
theater.
about that. Yeah.
We go to the theater. No one knows what the hell this is. We're sitting in line, and I see like there's a bunch of guys like in cosplay and shit. And so as we're walking through, I was like, "Well, wow, man, this movie must be pretty big because there's a fan base to it." And like as we were watching the film, we just knew we sat in the theater with a bunch of damn nuts because none of those characters were in the film. It was the weirdest thing I have ever seen, but that's what you get when you go to a Southern California theater. It's crap like this.
And don't forget your friend that you went to the Star Trek
Oh.
movie with.
We had a friend of ours. I won't even name him because it's just God knows he'll be shamed. But anybody remember the Magic Johnson theaters? Magic Johnson had his own theaters and everything. Well, Magic Johnson's theaters, just to let the word out, was not in non-urban neighborhoods. So they had Star Trek. I guess I can't remember which. It was a Next Generation film, and we go to pick them up, and it's like it's in the Crenshaw district. So cosplay has never really been big into the inner city. There's no
not
point
really.
of it. So we go to his house. He's like, "Yeah, pick me up at 8:00." He comes out his house 100% in a Star Trek uniform. Just the whole jumpsuit. He comes out the house. We're like, "Man, what the hell are you doing, bro?" And he's like, "I'm going to the theater." "No, you're not going like that, man. You're not right with us." And he's like, No, man. Like, I'm going to go to the theater. So we get to the theater, and like again, the Magic Johnson's theater. Hey, God bless him. He tried his best, but it was a theater that had a whole bunch of gangbangers and all kind of stuff that went through. We're in line, and we're like, "Hey, man, don't really kind of stand next to us because I know this is not going to work well." He starts walking in, and immediately a dude with like the Tupac do-rag on and everything, and he's like, he's sitting there in the Magic Johnson Theater, had some, particular rules and everything too. The guys start laughing and said, "Oh my God, there go freaking Geordie LaForge." And they started roasting him from the minute the movie started to the minute it ended. They were like onslaughting it. It was like, I swear to God, it was like if somebody had walked on to the Def Comedy Jam because they were killing them. They were killing them in the theater. So as we're sitting there, what surprised me, because they were ragging on him so hard, and yet this came through the whole appeal of Star Trek Next Generation. I was like, well, how the hell did these thugs know who Geordie LaForge is? And they knew who Klingons were and everything. So obviously,
from reading
they
Rainbow.
were 100% watching Star Trek. So because their knowledge of Star Trek and all the jokes they had, they were right out of it. So we knew that night that not only do you never go to an inner city theater dressed as a cosplay, don't ever do this. Second thing is that gang members know Star Trek Next Generation. They're very knowledable.
It's like the thing they watch in the.
Learn two things that day, my friend.
They learned the crypt walk from Star Trek.
Hey, that's they call it the wharf walk in the neighborhood.
I think that about does it. Just special shout outs to obviously our sponsor, Storm, as always.
We're gonna go through, like I said, we like to thank Toys versus Games in Wilmington, California. And like again, the reason why they're such a critical sponsor for a show. First of all, it's a mom and pop store. And that's what we want to spotlight. We don't want to spotlight, the big box chains and everything. They already have a machine that works. You want to keep these small toy stores around where you can walk in and have some interpersonal connection with someone, and you can go down the nostalgia feels. Because when you walk in Targets and Walmart, it's transactional. You're in there, it's ready to go. That's the good thing about it. Tony over there, he's a wonderful guy. It's Shadow's preferred store. It's one of those things where you support these smaller stores the same way. If there's any other comic stores that are out there that need some supporting, let us know, because we want to keep these things around. We want to see them prosper. And also, not so much a sponsor, but we just always got to give a shout out to the Junk Cartel over Whatnot. I was on this stream tonight before we got on, and Mike and Amber, fantastic individuals. Love them. They're like pseudo members of the whole Shadow Knows Network. It's every time I see them on, they just throw some of the best live streams on Whatnot, and actually, their whole entire community have been so welcoming to the whole Shadow crew and the Shadow Knows Network. So the Junk Cartel, definitely.
Awesome. Well, we've been talking about it a little bit in terms of teasing what's to come. And just as a reminder, we are rebranding this particular podcast from the Shadow Crew podcast to Pixels, Plastic, and Ink. That will begin in April on the 34th episode, which is 2 episodes away. We'll have our last and final special Shadow Crew podcast as we say goodbye to our name. We'll still be on the Shadow Knows Network on the overall YouTube channel, but Pixels, Plastic, and Ink will be live with some new merchandise and stuff. So we're looking forward to that. And then, as Chet said in the beginning of this show, we're also going to be featuring a Whatnot channel to coincide with the Pixels, Plastic, and Ink, where we'll be doing something really creative and different on Whatnot. We'll be selling toys and comic books and doing some podcast stuff. So really exciting. More to come on that as we get closer to that launch date. And then we got a lot of content on the Shadow Knows Network channel in which you're listening. So Toy Box Chronicles, Mr. Storm, and Mr. Chet Maddox, 7 p.m. Pacific time every Wednesday, talking about all the things toy related. I want to be a guest, man. Like when can I get on this damn thing?
You're on this coming Wednesday.
Okay.
In fact,
I love last week HasLab. I didn't watch it live. I just watched it. I got some recommendations on my dream, but it was awesome to see that. So anybody that's into toys, that's the spot. What were you going to say, Mr. Storm?
I was saying that I was also talking to a customizer just before we got on our cast about being a guest on that as well, because that's become such a huge part of the community now, is guys the customizing or kit bashing their figures. So we've got some special things coming for the Toy Box Chronicles.
Nice. I'm excited about that. Retrospects are on their way. We also have the Retro Rewind Club with Chet and I. That's pre-recorded. Usually hits Mondays on the channel, where we
new episode this Monday.
Yeah, we feature a lot of things, and what we do is we open up. We teased it on the Shadow Crew podcast last week, but a toy that I found on Whatnot, Why Not, showed to Chet that I'll be shipping him, and we got another episode in which we found some rare stuff, and we'll showcase those things. And then just recently, Shadow posted his toy hunt. He was in Compton, California. He hit like 5 stores. I'm not going to tell you what he found. Did he find anything? As Mr. Storm has said, the mom and pops are the place to go and online. But like, is there anything in Walmart and Target and Ross and TJ Maxx and all the other stores? You'll have to find out. But new video on the Shadow Knows Network. Any last thoughts, gentlemen, as we wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rebranding, brother.
I will tell you this, and this is a fair warning, and I'm going to warn everybody.
Okay.
If you don't have a Whatnot account, go create one and follow Pixels, Plastic, Ink, because when we say this, we're not joking, but there's nothing like what is going to happen on Whatnot. And if you don't have an account, you can't watch it. So please go watch it and follow. Imagine, as Mr. Storm says, if your YouTube videos were just behind eBay, you would have Whatnot. So that being mindful, if anyone's ever gone over to the Chet Maddox channel and saw the live streams on my channel, you know the production quality, you know the shit that Chris and I did with that. Well, you know, that's coming over to Whatnot. So I'm excited about it. I got to give something back. You know, I'm giving them my money anyways. So.
Yep, that's right. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Meeks, we love you. Don't worry about it. You watch video on demand. Put all your comments in the fucking comments, okay? Because next week, Wednesday.
The Shadowe